You know what? Starting this review, I almost feel like Master Obi-Wan Kenobi when he defeated Anakin and cried out and said, "You were the chosen one." It was said that you would bring great pricing to flagships, not join them. Bring balance to the smartphone market, not leave it in darkness. Then finishing it off by saying, "You were the fan edition. We loved you." Yeah, I know it didn't go exactly like that, and I kind of just remixed it for a bit of parody fun, but honestly, the S21 FE was the chosen one. And now we're getting into the stride of 2022. Is it still worth considering and dubbing it the chosen one? Let's try and answer that question in my full experience review of the Galaxy S21 FE. Let's go. Hi, Ben from Lover of Tech. If you enjoy videos like this and you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you're part of Team TLS, the Tech Lover Squad, so you don't miss any future videos on the channel. If we start with the design, the choice of the materials used were the right ones. The use of plastic at the back with now the upgraded Corning Gorilla Glass Victus at the front for the display, and how clean and easy to grip that matte finish of the metal rail is, makes for what really feels like a much nicer phone to hold and use compared to the previous S20 FE. Checkmate. S21 FE feels lighter and much more balanced, and it makes it a less fatiguing phone to actually hold and use regularly. And also, when it comes to the design language, it pretty much screams S21 series. Of course, it's the fan edition, but this time the camera module actually blends more into the back of the plastic and doesn't really connect to the frame of the phone. But you know what? That's just something to consider. Yes, of course, all the things that you kind of expect not to be there and there are there. There is no headphone port just like before, but you do have IP68 water and dust resistance, dual nano SIM, my favorite feature, and also USB-C port. They're all here. It's pretty much kind of a solid part of the S21 FE, but sadly people, there is no micro SD card slot and it's disappeared. Apart from that, the S21 FE design and build is actually a worthy upgrade. Front and center, display. I feel like, you know what, secretly, this is the best part of the S21 FE because it feels like there's more than meets the eye beyond just what the specs tell you on paper. Obviously, it's bait. It does have a 6.4-inch full high definition 1080p 120Hz dynamic AMOLED display. And no adaptive refresh here, meaning that you set it to 120, it's pretty much going to be running at 120 all the time. Audio experience though, dual speakers, they're loud, but you know what? It really got that bassy punch, especially after what I experienced on the Pixel 6 and Pro series. It lacks a bit of that bass, but you know what? Let's come back to the display. Firstly, the brightness feels much higher than I remember compared to the S20 FE. And you know what? I reckon maybe thanks to that Gorilla Glass Victus at the front, that the clarity is just something that didn't seem like it was there before, and it's really nice to the touch, so that when you're using it, it's really pleasant for typing, especially scrolling. The only thing is there is no pre-applied screen protector, so just get a display screen protector for it if you can. It's flat, should be easy to get. But you know, without it, I've had minor smudges that have come on the front glass, so just something to consider. That's my advice, right? It should be straightforward when it comes to the flat display. And although, look, that top center hole selfie isn't really that much smaller, gone is that weird silver ring, if you remember it from the S20 FE, that just made it look bigger and more of an eyesore than it needed to be. You know what? The last thing that really impressed me is the in-display optical fingerprint sensor. Yeah, like I said, it's optical. It's not ultrasonic like what you got on the main flagship S21 series, but you know what? It doesn't have that super speed. It's still very accurate to the touch, but the main thing I like about it, for some reason, it works even if the screen is off or the always on display is not working. Only thing to get a bit used to is the fact that it is at a slightly lower position. But you know what? I just kind of found it interesting that it still works when the display is off. As someone that appreciates good haptic vibration motor feedback, this is pretty much one of the only areas where it kind of didn't really impress me that much, because it feels the same as the S20 FE. If you remember my review from previous, it's pretty much the part I did not like, and still kind of feels like a massive step down, and it kind of takes that premium touch away when you're using it day to day. But you know what? Away from that, Samsung, honestly, best overall display at this price point for sure. Specs and performance. As I'm based in the UK, the model I have here is based on a Snapdragon 888, which comes with 6GB of RAM for the base model and 128GB of storage. So really, no surprise, my experience using the S21 FE day to day has been great, with smooth and generally very consistent performance, pretty much with no slowdown or stutter. Now, I kind of say generally because the camera UI still kind of lacks a bit of snappiness here and there, and it's not slow by any means, but I tend to feel some of the slowdowns when it comes to the shutter response and also when moving through the extended zoom ranges. So that's probably the only part. Now look, there's no sign of overheating when using it, especially when it comes to things like gaming. Did a bit of gaming, not that much. For extended periods, it seems to be working okay. Now, the saddest part of the specs of the S21 FE, like I said earlier, is the removal of the micro SD card slot. And considering now, when it comes to the storage, you do have that price point and 6 GB of RAM, and there's no price reduction this time around. This is quite unfortunate to see, as it makes it seem and feel a little bit overpriced compared to what the S20 FE brought last year. Overall though, the performance has been great so far in that section, no real complaints. Camera performance. The S21 FE can still kind of make the argument for being the most well-rounded for both videos and photos at this price point. Yeah, the hardware is pretty much the same as the S20 FE, so I'm not going to really spend that much time here. It's kind of a copy and paste job. The fact that you can still shoot 4K 60 frames per second on the selfie and the main sensor is still impressive to me. And to be honest, the only thing you have to do is, if you want better video stabilization, you kind of have to go down to the lower frame rates and the resolution, like full high definition 1080p 30 frames per second. But overall, you know what? The video performance is still very good. Now, pictures are clean and well done when it comes to daylight. Standard selfies, and I had this around when I went to New York and I was in Vegas and stuff. Detailed colors and pictures, good processing, much better improved compared to the S20 FE for sure. And obviously portrait, the selfies, even I follow the same thing, decent to good edge detection as well. Now, what's nice is like during the day, obviously pictures produce a really, really good shot. But what I like is having a dedicated optical 3x zoom. And that ultra wide 0.5, it's really nice and ultra wide. So when you're in the tight angle situations, and I was in those here, you can really still get the shot. Only thing I'll say is, look, try not to really push it beyond 10x, even though that it can go up to 30x digital zoom, because that's where you're gonna get your best results, tops. Overall though, the camera is well-rounded, good package, and gives near enough close to the same experience that you're gonna get on the S21. What's interesting is software-wise, the S21 FE is actually Samsung's first device to launch with One UI 4, running Android 12 out of the box with no additional OS update needed. The S21 FE, based on Samsung's update policy, it should actually see updates all the way up to Android 15. Whether that base model that I have here with 6 GB of RAM is going to hold up as far as Android 15 is a slight point of concern for me. But overall, this is still great news. All the best parts of One UI 4 are pretty much here in its full glory. Material U with color theme, with color palette as well, the new privacy controls, new widgets layout and interactions, better device care options like RAM Plus, and obviously the additional new accessibility control features like extra dim in the display. And you know what? I'm used to One UI. One UI is my de facto, and it's really my preferred version of Android OS on top of whatever base Android is running, which in this case is Android 12. So I really have no complaints with the S21 FE. Let's just see how this base model will hold up long term so far as when it comes to OS version updates. But so far, great in terms of the software. Battery wise, it's packing that same 4,500 mAh battery with 25 watt wired charging, 15 watt wireless charging, and the 4.5 watt wireless power share as well. Only thing is, it's still sad to see that there is no charger in the box this time around, not even a 15 watt that they gave you last year with the S20 FE. So just got to consider this, that you might have to buy the 25 watt official charger separately to get the best charging speeds. And obviously, speaking of the charging speeds, they're actually pretty quick, very efficient for the 25 watts, not as efficient as the S21 Ultra with 5,000 milliamps, but really only takes about an hour, 10 minutes or slightly under, slightly over to get to full charge, which I can rock with. But overall, the day-to-day battery life has actually been great. And also, you know what? Battery is just so subjective, right? Screen on time isn't really the perfect metric to measure it, but I'm getting around 6 to 7, if you want to know. And that's actually been very good for me on the S21 FE. The only thing I personally didn't really feel was that the battery drain during standbys felt kind of high. And obviously this might just be down to the fact that I'm using 5G. I live in a very strong 5G coverage area. But away from that, battery life has been very good. Let's conclude and wrap this up. A few things hurt the S21 FE from being the chosen one. And it's a sad case of, in its own bubble, the S21 FE, hands up, is a solid and really good phone. But unfortunately, this starting price of £699, especially for 6 GB of RAM, is not the one. Ideally, it should have been £629 or no more than £649. But with the fact that you get no micro SD card and no charger in the box, this doesn't make it look good next to the S20 FE, let alone the competition like the Pixel 6. But the real one is timing. This phone is basically 3 months late, and it's just too close to the Galaxy S22 base model, which is just right around the corner. Considering the S20 FE was phone of the year, for a lot of people, Samsung really should have focused on making the S21 FE a home run, even with some of the challenges around production. That's it with my experience review of the S21 FE. Did you end up picking it up? If you did, let us know. If you didn't, again, drop in the comment section below. That's it for me, Ben from Lover of Tech. If you enjoy videos like this, then you know exactly what to do, man. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you're part of Team TLS, the Tech Lover Squad, so you don't miss any future videos on the channel. I hope you're all safe during this time. I will catch you in the next one. Peace.